The difference in floor machines. Steve here with the Janitorial Store, the channel where we help cleaning business owners scale their cleaning companies with systems, tools, and resources. Well, you know, I had this question last week that a person was asking about the different floor machines, and they were interested in, you know, what's the difference? You know, do they all perform the same, or do they have the same features? Well, the quick answer is no, they don't. Probably the most common floor machine that's being used is what they call a scrubber. People call it with a number of different names. Scrubbers, it's a slow speed, a swing machine, a side-by-side, a buffer, slow speed, but it's all the same piece of equipment. And you know, the thing with their piece of equipment, it'll come in various sizes, meaning that it could be a 12-inch, it could be a 15-inch, 17-inch, 20-inch, and you know, they're a radial machine, meaning that they scrub in a circular motion. And the thing with those machines is that you know, they're pretty versatile because you can use them for stripping floors, scrubbing floors. You can use them for polishing. You can use them for carpet bonding. So, you know, if you're looking for your first floor equipment, that'd probably be the first one that I suggest that you buy, because it is so versatile and it'll make you a lot of money. So you're able to perform all these different services. So that's the thing that you'll probably look at there. You know, those machines will be at 175 to 300 RPMs. And again, you know, they're a rotary machine, and you know, what you can do with those, you can actually put a water tank on them, and with a water tank, you're able to put a water feed down to the base of the machine, and just by pulling the trigger, you're able to release water when you need it, which really comes in handy because if you're stripping a floor and for whatever reason you didn't put down enough solution and the area starts to dry out, well, all you do is you just add water. You don't add more chemical, you just add water, and will reactivate what you have down there. So that's the beauty of having a water tank on that scrubber. On that, I call it a slow speed. Been calling it that forever. But that's the beauty of that machine. Now the other thing is too is that machine uses floor pads, and you can put brushes on it. Now the thing about pads, you know, pads have their place, you know, but the thing is that they can cost you a lot of money. Typically your floor pads are going to come in cases of 5, and you'll have various colors. You know, you'll have black for stripping, green could be used for stripping, you could have a red one for scrubbing, and so on and so forth. You know, and each manufacturer of pads will be a little different. But that's the whole thing, is that, you know, that case of pads, you know, a pad may cost you anywhere from $5 to $8 each, so that adds up. You know, because the pad doesn't last forever. So your alternative to that is to put a brush on that slow speed. Now you can buy different types of brushes that have various grits. You can buy one for stripping, one for scrubbing, one for carpets. I mean, it's fantastic. That's what we did. We did this many years ago. And it really, you know, kind of upset my supplier, because they asked me, said, "Why aren't you buying pads no more?" I told them, I says, "Well, I'm not going to throw my money away. I'm gonna invest in a brush. The brush will cost $350, $400, but that thing's going to last me forever. In fact, that brush will outlast pads 10 to 1. And I still got a brush that I've had for many years. And I remember that, well, in my first company, I had that floor brush for that slow speed, God, probably 10, 12 years, up until I sold my business. And I'm sure it's still probably being used if it's been taken care of. And that's really the key, is that you got to take care of your equipment. So the same thing with your brush drive. Make sure you rinse it out and take care of it, and it will last you a long time. And again, now I said, you know, pads have their place. There may be a time when a pad makes sense for you to use a pad to do a quick clean of some sort, you know, such as a clean and burnish and some of these other things that you can do. But anyway, that's what you want to do. Now these machines, they may run anywhere from $700 to $1,000. You can get some used ones for a few $100s. But you know, look around. There's there's a lot of good manufacturers. You got Karcher, you got Clark, you got Minuteman, you got Tennant, you got Tornado. You know, there's a lot of them. And in fact, those manufacturers make a lot of these equipments, these floor equipment that I'm going to be talking about. Now the next one that I had was a cylindrical floor machine. Now the difference in this one here is, as you can see in the photo, that it's got a square box to it. And the reason for that is because it uses two cylindrical brushes on it. They're nylon brushes, and they counter rotate, and they really can clean really well. Now I should mention that on our slow speed machine, now that thing can move side to side, forward and backward in any direction you want. Our cylindrical machine, our floor machine, can only move forward and backwards. You can't go side to side with it. So that's one of the drawbacks to it. And you know, maybe that cylindrical might be turning around 1,000 RPMs, but you know, that's the things that we got to think about is, you know, which piece of equipment do we want to use for the job at hand. So you keep that in mind. You know, that cylindrical floor machine is going to cost you around the same thing. Could be around 1,200 bucks. Now we also have a burnisher. Now a lot of people aren't familiar with this, but it's a floor burnisher, and what this machine does is that it has RPMs of 1,000 to 2,500 RPMs, so that means it's turning really fast. Now, and you can get them in electric, you can get them in propane. Let's talk about the electric machines first. You know, that's what I always had because of the accounts and things that I had, and they're easier to transport. The electric machine, maybe that was around 125 pounds, maybe. You know, and it was a 20-inch machine, so it was easier for our technicians to load and unload these, even though we had ramps in our vans and stuff. But you know, a propane machine, you know, that can weigh as much as 325 pounds. So you know, you're talking about a beast of a machine, but it does a heck of a job. When you have a lot of floor space to do, you should be using a propane or a battery burnisher. Because man, you can do a lot of burnishing in a short period of time. Now, for those that aren't familiar with what a burnisher is a machine that we're using just to restore the gloss in our finish. So we have a topical finish on our floor, and it could be a resilient floor, it could be you know, concrete, it could be a lot of different things. But we've got a topical finish on it, and over time, you know, it gets scuffed up, gets dulled out. And what we want to do is that we can actually take a burnishing conditioner and we can mop that on with a traditional mop, let it dry, and then we can come on there with our burnishing machine and actually burnish that. So when we're doing that, we're putting a pad on there that matches our finish. Now your finishes come in different solids, and that's why you got to match your pad to it. If you use too light of a pad, it's not going to give you the results that you want, and so on and so forth. So always remember to match your pad with the finish when you're burnishing. But when we make that first pass over that floor from our conditioner, it's gonna dull it out. When we make that first pass with our burnisher, it's gonna snap back. It's gonna start to produce a shine. So typically, when you run your machine over 2 to 3 times, you start to see a really nice gloss to the floor, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to restore the gloss in the floor by burnishing it. Well, the electric machine now, that could cost you around 1,100 bucks. A 20-inch machine is kind of standard, so you would purchase 20-inch floor pads for that. Your propane machine will run you around $4,000. You know, there's various manufacturers, but you know, just go around and check out the features that you want with the machine. Because some of these propane machines, they can be used for stripping. And then you have a high speed, so same thing, you got high speeds and low speeds. And anytime we're scrubbing or stripping, we're going to use a slow speed. Anytime that we're going to be burnishing or spray buffing spray buffing, we're going to use a high speed, meaning 1,000 RPMs to 2,500 RPMs. We got to have that heat when we're burnishing, because that's what happens is from the heat from the pad turning, it moves around the finish and helps pull out the soils and everything else. In fact, when you're done burnishing, if you were to look at your pad, you would be able to see the soil starting to build up on it. Now, there's probably in another video I can do something about how to identify what's going on if you look at your floor pad and you've got, you know, white residue or whatever is on there. It tells you kind of what's going on with the floor. But anyway, we'll do another video on that. Now, another piece of machine that you want to probably have in your arsenal if you're doing floor care is definitely an auto scrubber. An auto scrubber, you know, you can get anything from a little compact auto scrubber, and you know, those are fantastic for small areas. They're a lot easier to be portable, and they're fantastic. You know, and they're probably, you know, somewhere around $1,700 to $3,000. It really depends on, you know, what you're getting. But they're a nice auto scrubber to begin with for small areas. And then you have your walk behinds. You know, we had a walk behind that was a 20-inch, and you know, that worked fantastic for the floors that we were doing. You know, and then we also had a rider. You know, and a rider, you know, is a great piece of equipment, but those things are spendy. You know, a rider may start around $10,000 and on up. So, you know, you got to be willing to invest in those. But I tell you what, we use the riding auto scrubber to go ahead and clean one of our clients' parking garages, and it worked out fantastic. You know, especially in Minnesota, where you had these winters where it just would really mess it up. You know, we'd clean it up and scrub it, and it looked like it would be brand new. And that's a service that we provided, you know, multi-times during the week. But those are your choices on auto scrubbers. You can get a compact, a walk behind, or a rider. You know, now your rider can be an actual sit-on, or it could be a chariot style. Your walk behind auto scrubbers come in various sizes. You get 20-inch, 32-inch, and so on and so forth. Depends on the size of the job that you're doing. Again, so match your auto scrubber to the job that you're doing. It makes no sense for you to walk in with a compact auto scrubber when you've got 30,000 square feet of floor to do. That just makes no sense. So match the equipment to the job. And also, you have to remember that these auto scrubbers, they do a number of different functions. An auto scrubber feature is to be able to put down solution, scrub the floor, and pick it up, you know, all in one process. So there's a little bit of training that you got to have for all these equipment, but on an auto scrubber, once you understand the buttons of lowering the pads or reducing the pad pressure, and when to drop the squeegee and when to pick up the squeegee, because with an auto scrubber you can do a couple of different things. You can do double passes to where you're scrubbing with the squeegee up, and then on your second pass you're dropping the squeegee and scrubbing and picking everything up, and things like that there. But I tell you what, it makes a world of difference when you're doing floor care. We did a lot of it. In fact, we became known as an expert in floor care in our first cleaning company. And we did all types of floors. We did resilient floors, we did wood floors, we did ceramic tile, we did stone, concrete. We did just about everything I can think of. You know, we did that because I learned about the process and how to maintain these floors, and just gained as much knowledge as I could, and trained our technicians on how to do these things, how to do these processes properly, without damaging the floor and being the most efficient. And again, you know, that's the whole thing about if you're doing any floor work, you got to be efficient. So make sure you use the right piece of equipment for the job at hand, you know, you'll be able to get some decent production rates and be able to really make some profit. So, well, hopefully you found some value from this video, and if you did, go ahead and feel free to make a comment or leave a like. And if you have not already, you know, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates on new videos to help you grow your cleaning business. So, well, thanks for checking in today, and let's keep it clean out there.